palpable anger on singer Udit Narayan. Not just that, we'll also get you a moment between Rishi Sunak and his mother that you just can't miss. We're getting you all the stories and of course a big decision that the Karnataka government has taken on the landmark judgment of passive euthanasia. We'll tell you more on what's packed in tonight's show. Let's get started on what's trending with me, Suesha Sawant. First up, the big budget bonanza of 2025 that is making headlines, and for good reasons. The internet has erupted in the 12 LPA celebration, particularly some of which you can see on your screens. In fact, Finance Minister Nirmala made that big announcement as far as this particular slab is concerned, and a massive tax relief for the middle class. Of course, the opposition staged a walkout, as we saw. No surprises there, given the history of how things have been. But here is the thing. There are some details that netizens have been scratching their heads about. There is a revised tax slab that says that if you're earning between 8 lakh to 12 lakh rupees in a year, then you'll have to pay 10% tax. So what is the real deal with the new tax regime? Will the revised tax slabs actually benefit the middle class, or are these some fine prints we need to be aware of? To break this down for us, we have tax partner EY India Amarpal Chadha, who's joining us on the show tonight. Amarpal Chadha, thank you for speaking to us. Firstly, help us understand. At one end, the impression is that there is tax relief for those who have their CTC under 12 lakh rupees. Netizens are also confused about the revised tax slab, which is between 8 lakh to 12 lakh rupees, so where it is 10% of a deduction. What does this mean?
Yeah, so there are two changes that have come, and one needs to keep in mind that the tax rate has now been amended in a manner that people earning up to 12 lakh are actually fully exempt from tax. So if your income is below or equal to 10 lakh, there is no tax liability. Whereas if your income is higher than 12 lakh, there will be a tax liability, and it is computed based on the various slab rates that have been prescribed and which you can see on your screen now. For example, the revised exempt limit is 4 lakh, which has been revised from 3 to 4. That means up to 4 lakh, anyway, there is no tax. So if your income is between 4 to 8 lakhs, you have a 5% tax liability. If the income is between 8 and 12, 10%. Similarly, additionally, 12 to 16, 15, and the slab goes on to 20, 25. And the maximum tax slab starts now at 24 lakhs, which is 30% tax at 24 lakhs. So based on this computation, you would pay tax. But if the income is below 12 in any way, there is no tax.
All right. So in that scenario, how do we compute the tax in that slab? And is it only for that bracket that those should be happy, or do we say, like you were explaining, that even the higher brackets where the CTC is up to 25 lakh rupees an annum also get a certain relief?
Yes. So it is interesting, and sometimes it can be a little confusing, Suesha, that how this calculation happens. But just to give you an example, if somebody's income is 12 lakhs, under the current tax regime, there is pre-budget, their tax liability would have been around 83,000. That has become zero.
Right.
But if your income was 15 lakhs, let's say, your earlier liability would be around 145,000, 1,45,000, which if I use now these revised slabs and tax rate, it will come down to 1,10,000 odd. So a person who's earning 15 lakhs would end up saving around 36,000 from this budget. Whereas somebody who's at a 24 lakh income would actually see a benefit of 1,15,000 odd in their hands. Similarly, if I go up, even if I take the delta of the surcharges, somebody's earning 1.5 crores, the delta will not be that big. They will save about 1,30,000. So you would see the best benefit coming at 12 lakh, which is around 83,000.
Right.
And then it will fall for the middle levels, but then again pick up as you go up to 24 lakhs.
So all the reason for those in these brackets to be happy. I want to thank you, Mr. Chadha, for speaking to us this evening. And we move on to our next big trending story, Udit Narayan's latest concert that has sparked a heated debate online. A viral clip that shows the 69-year-old singer getting extremely cozy with a fan during his performance of the classic hit Tip Tip Barsa Pani. And it's not uncommon for artists to interact with their audience, but we cannot help and ask, is this a little too much? The internet is enraged. On your screens are some of the comments that are calling out the singer. Before that, watch what happened. And time now to take a quick check of all the hot trends that have been breaking the internet today. Reporters caught the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, off guard today, leading to flurry of online trolls despite mics being directed at him for a reaction to the Union Budget 2025. The LOP looked rather clueless. Netizens argue that Mr. Gandhi should have at least said something.
For our needs, for achieving Atmanirbharta in edible oils. Our farmers have the capability to grow enough for our needs and more. 10 years ago, we made concerted efforts.
So what do you have to say about the budget, sir?
For achieving Atmanirbharta.
Superfood Makhana is taking over social media after Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's announcement in the Union Budget 2025-26. Bihar received major attention with the creation of a Makhana board and a National Institute for Food Technology. Naturally, the internet had a field day with memes featuring Amitabh Bachchan, Madhuri Dixit and Govinda turning the announcement into a viral sensation.
A Makhana board will be established in the state to improve production, processing, value addition, and marketing of Makhana. The people engaged in these activities will be organized into FPOs. The board will provide hand-holding and training support.
Nirmala Sitharaman's Budget Day sari made a statement yet again showcasing India's textile heritage. This off-white sari with golden work that was a special gift from Padma Shri Dulari Devi, a Madhubani artist. Honoring a request from Devi, Sitharaman wore it on Budget Day, paying tribute to the rich Madhubani art. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak had a light-hearted moment when his aunt-in-law nudged him to greet an audience at the Jaipur Literature Festival. In the video, Sunak promptly stands up, turns around, does namaste, waves out and sits back down. Netizens found the gesture amusing, with them saying, "You may be a former Prime Minister, but when mom says, namaste karo, you do it pronto.
Jaipur Literature Festival. For those of you who the Jaipur Literature Festival. For those of you who
A Philadelphia man captured the tragic moment when an air ambulance carrying a child and 5 others crashed and exploded in northeast Philadelphia. These pictures on your screens.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Rapper Raftar and fashion stylist actor Manraj Javanda tied the knot in a stunning fusion wedding that beautifully blended Sikh traditions and Kerala's serene wedding style. The intimate yet lavish celebrations perfectly embodied a two states love story, and their wedding moments are now taking the internet by storm. Back home, the Indian astronomer Dorje Angchuk has captured a mesmerizing time-lapse video showcasing Earth's rotation against the backdrop of the serene Ladakh landscape. The video, taken from the Indian Astronomical Observatory in Hanle, offers a rare visual representation of how our planet moves while the Milky Way appears motionless in the nightless sky. Other big discussion on the internet. Yes, Karnataka has made history by becoming the first state in India to approve passive euthanasia, that is only allowing terminally ill patients to die with dignity. This landmark decision that comes after feedback from medical professionals and experts in palliative care and is in line with the Supreme Court's directive.
I absolutely support the new directive that the Karnataka government has come by, where they're going to be following the Supreme Court's order of the right to die with dignity. Now, this is a big boon for anybody who is in a terminally ill condition with no hope of recovery, or for somebody who is on life support and there is really no scope of recovery. For example, in a persistent vegetative state, where there is no quality of life, they're unaware of what's happening around them. It takes such an emotional toll on the family, a financial toll on the family, with no hope that there's going to be any recovery. They've also passed the advanced directive, which will give people an option of writing a will where they can state that they would not want to be kept alive if they're in a condition where they might be in a vegetative state or they're on life support with no hope of recovery. So I think this is absolutely a very big decision, and it will be really helpful for a lot of families who are seeing their loved ones suffer for many, many years. I do not think that this will be misused in any way, because the government has very clearly directed that there will be two groups of doctors who will certify whether this process can take place or not. For the first team will be a group of doctors which can consist of the neurologist, neurosurgeon, anesthesiologist, critical care specialist, who will first see if the patient meets the criteria for where there is no sign of recovery or that they will ever get better. Once that is passed, then it's going to go to another group of doctors, another team of doctors at the district level, including a government doctor, who will again recheck to make sure this is fine. Only and only then can they proceed to withdraw life support in a case where there is life support. So only in that scenario can this happen. And this would happen when the family requests for the same. So, but I think it's a great step in the right direction.
We also have Dr. Sonia Lal Gupta joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Gupta, thank you for speaking to Republic. While we get your point of view, a quick question from you on what is the scope of misuse and how it can be prevented.
So Swesha, this is a very big step, in the right direction. And the way the government has planned this, the scope of misuse, I personally feel, is very less. It's not, it's not that somebody can just go ahead and say, oh, remove this. No. What the government has said is that if somebody is in a condition who's terminally ill with no hope of recovery, or they are on life support, again with no hope of recovery, a decision that the family can take is to approach the hospital and say that as there is no scope of recovery, can we maybe withdraw life support? In that situation, first, the hospital team, which comprises of at least 3 to 4 doctors, will look at particular criteria. Then the next step would be, if they match those criteria, then the government team will approve the same. Then it will go to court, and only once the court gives the order will the next step actually happen.
So you think other states should follow suit?
Sorry?
So you think other states should follow suit?
Absolutely. The right to die with dignity is a very big thing. And the emotional toll it takes on families, the financial toll it takes on families, to watch your loved one in a condition where they will not recover, and just to see them suffer for years on end. I think this is a very big step, and I'm so happy that the Indian government is going in that direction. And to see Karnataka take this first step speaks highly, that this is the right step. And I think people should be allowed that if they're not going to recover, there's no scope of any quality of life, definitely this can be. I think this is a big step in the right direction.
All right, Dr. Gupta, many thanks for joining us tonight.
Sure, thank you.
And with that, it's a wrap from me as I leave you with these stunning pictures of Blue Ghost, the little lander from Firefly Aerospace that's headed to the moon, and it has captured the littlest lunar eclipse ever, as well as our hearts. NASA's Blue Ghost lunar lander that is on its way to the moon, soaring through space with a tiny lunar rover called Tenacious. Blue Ghost is targeted to land on moon on the 2nd of March. Watch this as I say goodbye.
Modi government rolls out middle-class bonanza.
There will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
Has BJP become the middle-class hero party? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.